Okay, so I have here Elias. Is that how you say it?
Elias.
Elias. Okay.
Yeah, that's good. That's pretty good. Yeah.
You're 22,
I'm 23. I'm older than I think. It seems like. Yeah.
23, and you're from
Yeah.
Finland.
I'm from Finland. That's true.
And have you lived there your whole life?
No, I studied in Scotland for a period. I studied psychology in Scotland for a while.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, so how long have you been interested in typology?
Typology probably from like the first interest maybe in the fifth grade. So that would be 12. I didn't read about any information, but sort of innate curiosity towards different kinds of people. Uh, it was obvious that people have most people are basic like I am, just a normal dude, just a normal person, or however you want to say it. But there's variations in the way they react to situations. That was the first clue. Like people react differently, so there must be, and then people who reacted differently might have some groups or subgroups within groups that react similarly. So they must have something similar. But like maybe what you're asking is how when I become curious in these like specific systems like OPS or MBTI or socionics or some
Yeah.
others. Um, that's maybe 3 years, 4 years ago. No, that's more 5, 6 years ago. Yeah.
Okay, and have you done a lot of research into it?
Yeah. I have a good understanding. I have not been able to mirror it or cross-examine it with other people that much because I find the people around me who are interested in it in Finland, uh, people my age, or I haven't found really people who are as invested in it as I have been. So I haven't been able to really proof test my understanding.
Yeah, it's a pretty niche hobby.
It is.
Um,
It's pretty bizarre or something.
yeah. So, what's your preferred method of learning? Are there certain YouTube channels that you like to watch? Have you done a lot of actual reading?
Ton of reading, ton of reading. Reading is much faster for me. I pick up information when it's in written form much faster. Just because that's I don't know why, but that's how it is. But videos, of course, I watch Devon Sham every Monday. I wait for them video religiously.
Hmm.
I'm not in the thingy yet, but every Monday I watch it.
All right. What do you like about OPS?
Uh, I thought about this before because I thought you were going to ask something related to that. But OPS, I like it because it doesn't have the romanticism that socionics has. Perhaps like socionics and systems related to that have more descriptive. They're more mystic, and it's more sort of academic, more mystic, and it's more loose. And I find that very attractive as well. But I have to have the balance. OPS is more dry, it's more everyone's normal. You're not that interesting. This is just how it is. This is the wiring, and I think that's pretty attractive too.
Hmm. All right. So, um, what do you do with yourself these days?
Uh, Currently, I've dropped out of 2 schools or 2 universities already. I'm looking to. I have an exam in 2 months to go to Helsinki, the capital of Finland, to study philosophy. That's next up. Right now, I've done some sales work. It's quick, easy money. It's soul crushing for me, of course. That's why I had to drop it because I need something little more relaxing. So right now I work in a cinema. It's nice hours, so I work late. I work mostly weekends, so that's perfect for my study period because in 1 month I have to study very rigorously, and that's going to be very nice to have my mornings for study and then work on weekends, so I'm not tempted to go party or anything like that. So it's a
Okay.
nice option. Yeah.
Are you good at sales?
Yeah, I think so. I'm not great at small talk. I'm not very talented at meeting a person on just like telephone. Like on telephone, I don't get a great grasp of a person. But if I have it in real life, I can see how they gesticulate or however you say it, with their talk with their hands, how they emote with their body. I think then visually, if I get the visual impression, then I have a good idea of the person, and then I can maybe entertain them, have a good time. So I think communication, the key in communication, like Tony Robbins says, is just to have a good feeling.
Okay.
And sales is the same. Just everyone has a good vibe, and then it works. I think.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So, you said something about being tempted to go out and party. Is that something that's likely to happen?
It's very likely to happen. Dopamine is definitely the hormone of choice, or or what is it? Not hormone, but
Neurotransmitter.
Neurotransmitter, exactly. Neurotransmitter of choice, exactly. Excitement, kind of risky situations. I like kind of those stuff. I didn't always love it. Like when I was a child, I really hated roller coasters and all that. I would cry if I would be forced into one. But now, as I'm older, I can withstand more dopamine. It sounds weird, but that's how I think about it.
So you would get overstimulated as a child.
Oh yes, oh
Okay.
yes. No, I would not. Roller coasters would just crush me. Yes.
Okay. What about little things like I guess I'll give you some examples from my life as a child. Like in the school cafeteria, for example, the smell of disinfectant in the cafeteria would be so overpowering to me that like I almost couldn't eat my lunch.
Wow.
Or walking outside after school was done in the early afternoon, the sunlight would be so harsh to me that I could feel like I could barely open my eyes. Or a certain article of clothing would be like a little bit too scratchy, and it would just be so irritating.
I had that.
Okay.
I had that. The sunlight. I have like really long eyelashes, and I think I'm built for. I have protection from sun naturally. Smells really bother me. That's true. If I like, it was weird. If I saw some person, well, I was a kid. I was walking from school early afternoon. I saw some person, and I didn't want to sense them too much. Then I would just like hold my breath. I did not want to have that experience. I was very sensitive to sensory as well. We had this sort of, how do you call this? Not a real like, what is the thing you pull over yourself when you sleep? The thing, what's that?
Comforter?
You have that wide, long fucking sheet.
Blanket?
Blanket, yes. But it's not really a blanket. It's more of a like on a sofa, cozy thing. Anyway, it was like this woolly texture. It was not really scratchy, but it felt really nauseating to touch it.
Oh,
So
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
An Afghan or something they might call it. That weird knitted kind of blanket with like the square holes in it.
Oh.
Yeah. Something like that. So I had to like, this is not as this part of the hand is not that
Like a quilt.
sensual maybe,
I'll show you
or
later.
it's not that it doesn't have that many one of those things. However, you understand. This is more sharp to know what is what. So I had to only touch it with this part of hand. I couldn't touch it with my fingertips. Those very sensitive parts. Yeah.
Okay. So what?
So I relate to that.
Okay. All right. So when you were a young child, what were you like? And I guess as a counterpoint to that, or a possible counterpoint to that, what would other people, like your parents or your family, say that you were like?
No, well, I will begin. Well, my parents would have said I was very for like late. So I would say like before I was 8 or 9. Before I was 8, I was very obedient, quiet, not that excited to do new things, especially in front of other people. Alone or with my parents, I could go ski and stuff like that. I could do weird stuff with my body, like play basketball, and that was like, I think I looked bizarre doing that stuff. So I did not want to do that in front of other people. So I was kind of reserved like that. But I was very obedient after 9. Maybe later after that, of course, you become more rebellious and so on. with the changes, maturity and so on. But I was very quiet. For what I would say now, what I would say that's not maybe what my parents would have said, but what I would say, I was very. I had a keen eye. I was known to have. I had a keen eye. I was very visual. As I say that your webcam goes up.
No, I'm still here.
Okay, recovered. No, yeah. So I had a very, very visual eye. So I would always, if someone had lost something, I would know where it was, where I would find it, because I very quickly find it. So I like to observe and observe other people, understand things, play around things. I was very excited to memorize things. So I would memorize all NHL teams, all Pokemons, just with the picture, and then I couldn't bring it up. So it was if someone said like Chicago Blackhawks, then I would get the picture, but I couldn't bring it up naturally. If someone, if I wanted to bring it up, I could not. But the visual, I could. If someone brought up the picture, I would tell which team it was or which Pokemon it was. I was very excited to learn and read. Yeah, Donald Duck. That's what I read.
Okay.
The cartoons or the what is that? Not cartoon. It's cartoon. Yeah.
Like comics, like visual.
Oh, I cannot hear you. I think the
Oh.
microphone is muted. Probably.
So you mean like a comic sort of thing, like?
Comic, yeah, not cartoon. Comic, yes.
Okay. So I mean, is that what you spent most of your free time doing? Was like reading or?
Yeah.
Okay. And what other kinds of? Would you read any books?
No, I like the pictures. I
Okay.
like the pictures. I think it's a little embarrassing because you would like to consider yourself like a smart person or something, and you associate like Lord of the Rings and all those.
I mean, that's worth noting. I mean, being a visually based person doesn't make you less smart necessarily. Let me see here. So you mentioned like if other people would lose things, that what, like you would remember where you saw those things and you would find them?
Yeah.
So what about?
It's worse now. It's worse now. Of course, children are amazing at memory stuff. I cannot do that nowadays. I still have the same confidence as a child. Like, yeah, I know where it is. It's there, and I'm like 40% chance that I'm right. Mostly I'm wrong nowadays.
Well, I was just gonna ask, like, in your own life, like, do you tend to lose things and not be able to find them?
Yeah, yeah. I don't keep track of my items that well. I don't keep track of my. I've gotten much better at it. I'm 23 now. I had to get much better at it. I've lost my things so many times. I've been emotionally devastated by that so many times that I'm constantly checking my items now. But the sensory disrespect was absolutely astonishing when I was younger. I had no respect for sensory whatsoever. Like the way I looked or the way I presented myself, no respect.
Okay. So you said it sounds like you suddenly became rebellious or difficult. Was there any reason for that?
Well, yeah, of course. Of course, marriages are very difficult, and that affects the children. So I think just parents, the household situation might be difficult, and that might affect the way a child behaves. I think is the politically correct answer.
Okay, so there was family trouble then, is what I'm gathering.
Yes, but of course that is just from my perspective. Perhaps I was also very lazy at school. I never did well. I was very unenthusiastic to do homework or schoolwork or at all. It was very boring to me. I was not interested whatsoever. It felt very, yeah.
Did you still get good grades?
To some degree, yes, but mostly not. I was daydreaming. I was very anxious when I was a child. Like, the first grade, I felt great at school because I was was very good at school. Second grade, my teacher from first to sixth grade, so that's from 7 to 13 years old. My teacher was a very religious person, and second grade, I was beginning to be very verbal about my suspicions about all these stories, Christian stories, religious stories, because I was obviously not wise enough to understand perhaps the deeper meaning of all of it, but just the logic of it was so incomprehensible to my experience of the world that I was very verbally skeptical at 8 years old to my schoolmates about the whole thing, and that word came to my teacher, and of course after that the 5 years of hell from that, you know.
I mean, what was your relationship like with your peers in school?
It was good. It was pretty good. I was a funny person. That was my method. Just be the funny guy. Just run with that. Don't exceed. That's gonna bring jealousy and envy and so on. And you're gonna be a target. I was trying to complete school with as little as little more scars as possible. So that's my method. Just be the funny guy. Don't be too great. Don't be too bad at anything.
Okay.
Yeah. So I had a decent amount of friends, but mostly the weird people, just the very creative types. Some people who are, you could almost say they've lost their minds because they're uh, so out there, and I didn't really associate with the really smart people who were really successful and who were really into completing their schoolwork. I thought that was a very bad strategy to associate with them. At like 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 years old.
Wait, what? Can you repeat that?
I thought it was a bad strategy to associate with the really people who were really successful with their schoolwork at between the age of 9 to 13.
Okay.
Because the main thing is I did not want to become a target. I did not want to be noticed that much.
Right. So, were you afraid to interact with people because that sounds like a pretty logical reason not to interact with people too much, but was social anxiety a cause of lack of interaction for you?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Social anxiety, I'm not a fan of the term. I think that they're very, I don't know, problematic, but the medical terms, I would not be happy to diagnose myself with anything. But yeah, I was very anxious with social situations. Yes.
I mean, you know what I mean when I say social anxiety.
Yeah, I'm not saying you're being untactful. I'm just imagining that.
You could call it fear of judgment.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Okay. Why did you think that people would judge you?
Just being different.
Okay.
Different background. My father was in politics. My mother was writing for the newspaper of our hometown. So I think there was a lot of kids' parents might have opinions of our family, and they are very rare surname and all that stuff. So I figured it must be the best just to lay low.
Okay, so it was kind of like everyone knew who you were. Who your family was.
Maybe I had imagined that maybe, but I'm not sure if that's true or not. But I thought it was better not to be known.
All right. Did anything change in like high school or college as far as?
Yeah. High school completely different. I moved to a completely different city, and I decided to reinvent myself. Now at this point I have spent 14 years, 15 years just trying not to be noticed. Now it's time to create the social skills necessary when I still have the time to do it, and create the social networks to have a good social life and so on. Yeah.
So when you describe these things in your life, it sounds like there's a lot of intent kind of behind the way that you chose to behave. I'm wondering if that is that kind of analyzing it in retrospect, or is that actually how you felt about it at the time?
It was intentional.
Okay.
Yes, it's intentional. Of course, not all of it is conscious at the moment, but it is very, very definitely intentional.
Okay.
Or some might say tactical or strategic. Very difficult word to pronounce for me right now. But
Okay.
I'm not certain if it is strategic thinking or tactical thinking, but definitely just avoiding as much trouble as possible, but still having a good time. So that requires tactical and strategic thinking.
Right.
Definitely.
So I guess when you want to have good social relationships with people, I mean, is it easy for you to get people to like you?
Yeah. Yes, they do call me charming. Yes, they do.
All right.
I would not be the judge of that, but I'll be called that.
Fair enough. I've rarely been called that, so take what you can get.
You're charming.
I guess now people might call me charming, but I'm like 30 years old.
I'm very charmed by you.
Well, I appreciate that. Okay, so were you involved in any like extracurricular activities in high school or otherwise? What kinds of things did you do for fun or when you hung out with people?
We used to make clothes for like designing clothes and stuff like that. Designing clothes. All the rap thing, the music thing, all the like the underground culture, the subculture, the rebellious culture, making clothes for artists. Some of my friends used to do that. I used to be really interested in that. We used to make clothes and design stuff and just visual stuff again. Stuff like that. Cool stuff. I was really interested in cool stuff in high school. I was not cool until then. So
Okay.
I was really interested in like SF cool shit. No.
Did the clothes ever come to fruition?
What do you mean?
Like, did they ever get made, or they just like, do it?
Oh, I mean, how did you guys actually successfully make a lot of clothes?
My friends designed some for like the biggest rap group at that moment. JVG, JVG, that kind of group. You would
So
not
you designed
know, of course. Yeah, designed and made for their concerts.
Okay.
I was not the mastermind or anything of that project. I was their talent completely carrying it, but I had my opinions on the stuff, and some listen, some don't.
Okay, so I mean, you mostly just wanted to be in that group,
Yeah.
so to speak.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
I mean, what did you do for fun when you were a teenager?
When I was a teenager, I did not drink or anything like that. I was playing video games. I really liked. I was. Well, it was like this. I was really a big fan of like USA Yankees stuff when I was like until I was like 16, and then I became a huge fan of like Canadian and Canada stuff. I don't know. So Reddit, I really read a lot of Reddit when I was a teenager, just trying to get like the understanding the way the Americans think about things. I think that was cool. I think that was interesting to me.
So
Understanding what is the state of mind. So Reddit, I've read a ton of Reddit.
So just to be clear, I mean, it sounds like you always had a pretty strong interest in like North American sports teams.
Yeah, that must be the roots. Right.
Okay. And then what do you mean understanding the American way of thinking? Like
Because it's obviously different than ours. We're very most of the time of the year is very dark here. We're melancholic people. We're very different from Americans. When Instagram started coming up, the Finnish youth culture was getting very Americanized, of course, because the Instagram is very American. The most popular, the most SF cool people are, of course, American, because it's the biggest user base, probably, at least the most successful one. So, of course, that's going to trickle down to the Finnish youth culture. So I think it was necessary, and I think it was very smart to understand the rules of the coming wave to the Finnish culture. How we're gonna transform next. Of course, when I was that young, I did not think of that like that. It's retrospectively, I can only imagine that was a good choice, good country to be interested in. But we're a very small but strong population in Finland. We're only 5.5 million, 5 million people. Of course, the talent pool, the information pool in North America is much larger. There's another English-speaking country with almost similar numbers, like England or Britain, but I was between those. America was much cooler, much more interesting to me. So that's the source of information for me then, because the talent pool is larger. There's, the peaks are higher. So
But you've never been.
Interesting perspective. So, I mean, I gather you've never actually been to America.
no, and never meet your idols, sort of thing. So I probably will not.
I mean, do you have any interest in going?
I don't know. Are you inviting me?
No, I'm not. No. If I had more money.
No, I would of course pay for my own stuff, but we could have a OPS meetup.
Huh. Okay. So, what?
Excuse me one moment. I have to change my snooze.
Sure.
What are you thinking of censored?
It's another source of.
I am.
Source of
It's hard to tell.
dopamine.
What's that?
What's he doing?
It's a nicotine pouch.
Chewing
Oh,
tobacco.
chewing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Huh.
We can edit that out if it's. I don't know.
Why do you like it?
Nicotine is an interesting drug, like caffeine. It's legal. That's not that interesting, but it's a nervous system stimulant. So of course, you can elevate your state of mind. You can speak or think faster, which is not always helpful, but it's fun.
Well, how does it make you feel?
In my body, more in my body. Yeah.
Well, of course,
That's a good
but
question. Yeah.
can you
It makes
describe?
me feel I'm more in my body.
Okay.
So that's a good question. I did not think of it that way, but the answer came to me from that question. Yeah.
See there, right? He's describing everything from like a theoretical perspective,
Yeah.
which is not really like a sensor, Okay, I mean, I don't know if I asked this already, but like, what do you actually do to entertain yourself, like now?
I go for walks. I listen to music. I go for walks. I can't consume for too long. If I consume, it recharges my battery somehow, and then I have to do something. I cannot just endlessly consume. I go for walks. There's a nice little hill there. I walk around it maybe twice a day. I go for walks. I listen to music. I call my friend in Serbia, have a talk. I go to the library. I make music with my friends. I write music. Last year I wrote maybe 250 songs. Right now I don't have passion for it.
Okay, what kind of music do you make?
Rap music,
Okay.
like all SE people.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. What do you mean by consume?
Well, reading, eating, using nicotine pouches, walking. I'm not walking. Listening to music. Watching the view, not the show, but the view. I know there's a show in.
Yeah, I got you. You mean like the
It's a horrible
scenery
show.
out the window?
Basically.
Yeah, looking out the window. I like looking out the window. That's consuming also, I think.
Huh. You have a very broad definition of
Yeah, interesting.
consumption. Yeah.
Maybe not accurate, but it's my idea.
Okay.
What are the themes of the song?
I guess that's a good question. So what? I assume you write lyrics for music, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what kind of themes are present in it?
I'll try to remember some specific themes, but it's quite perhaps dark themes. Like Finland is a dark country. We're very melancholic people, so the themes might be dark, might be about life and death, might be about youth, might be about inauthenticity. Rap game is very inauthentic. Everybody is like Instagram for sure as well. All this culture, very inauthentic, and it's fine. It's cool. Double designing or what? Um, I don't know about the themes, but I use symbolism. I like to use symbolism. I like to use metaphors. I like to be incomprehensible at times. I like to be very comprehensible at times. Yeah.
Okay. So if I'm not mistaken, it seems like you were just briefly describing, like, basically being aware that all of this cultural stuff that's going on that you follow closely is actually not very authentic at all.
It's not.
Okay.
It's not that authentic. All the most unpopular, most socially and infrastructurally and in any manner, the worst successful gathering. They're least successful people. Those are the most authentic. So you have to have a facade to be successful in this climate, and it's fine. That's how it works, and that's just how it is. That's probably everywhere, and that's probably cross-cultural, and that's probably cross-millennia. That's just how it is, and that's a new thing to me, of course, in some sense. New thing. Well, I'm a young person, you too, but that's just how it is.
Okay. So I mean, it seems like you kind of do whatever you think you have to do to be successful, however that's defined by the culture at the time.
Yeah, I think it's true. Yes, I want to be masterful and successful, but the area and the manner in which I want to be successful is up to me. And some might define, you don't have that much money, you don't have that much status, you don't have that many diplomas, you're very unsuccessful. So it's not perhaps the spectrum of success might be my own personal understanding.
So
And
success is a mindset.
yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, you say that now, but I do mostly see you define success in a more objective sense.
It's probably true. It's probably true. That's probably just me trying to maintain healthy levels of serotonin.
So, how about this? How are you planning on achieving success?
I have to sit my ass down and do the work. Seriously. I've learned really bad habits when I was young. I was just breezing through everything. I was reading at school way before anyone could even know the letters. It's horrible, so horrible habits. I'm almost fine with just being mediocre in all measures of success at the end of the day. Just because of the rules, just because how I've conditioned myself, how I've been conditioned by the school system, how I've been conditioned by my parents, but maybe myself, how easily I've let myself just not raise the bar for myself. But I'm still trying. I'm still working hard. I'm trying to go to the best uni. I'm trying to go to the hardest course. So.
Oh, I can tell you're working hard. I'm really just kind of wondering if you have any sort of plan or like roadmap for where all this study's going to lead.
There's like maybe 4 or 5 different paths I would like to take after
I don't
school.
think so.
I want to go to the humanities, of course. When it comes to studies, I want to study philosophy to perhaps slow down my thinking a little bit, maybe a little bit more accuracy, not so much just by the touch, by the feel, by the intuition. Maybe that's not all. That's maybe not all there is, you know. So I think philosophy might be good for that.
Yeah, because you're studying something that's cool.
So wait, did you say that you dropped out of school at any point before settling on philosophy?
Yeah, I dropped out of psychology. I dropped out of programming.
Okay. I mean, I'm sure you'll agree with me. Getting a philosophy degree is not exactly the best bang for your buck in terms of success.
I think you would be correct. I think philosophy majors do really well in North America, for example. They're very successful. The ones who are inclined to be so. The ones who are not stuck in academia.
Well,
They might be
advertising.
senators, or they might be working in other areas. I don't have the sensory examples for you laid out here, but I think in North America, for example, philosophy students do very well from good schools. Same here in Finland, it's very respected because mostly educated people are aware of the academic rankings, or if you could say spectrum of competence or difficulty of completing this or in entering these courses. Philosophy is one of the harder ones, up there with like theoretical physics or astrophysics or mathematics in Finland and in North America as well.
Well, I think while you're right that philosophy does, at least at higher levels, it does take quite the intellect to really wrap your mind around it. I think that's true. I think mostly what you're saying has more to do with the kind of people who go for philosophy degrees, but I'm kind of talking about the value of having a philosophy degree in itself.
Immediate value.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a high immediate value. You have to pull some tricks, obviously,
Right.
to make it work. And I'm not worried about just being stuck with a philosophy degree and not knowing what to do with it. I'm not worried about that at all.
Okay.
For sure we'll have an idea how to work with them. For me, I would not trust my instincts or trust my vision or trust my idea of how it will work maybe 6, 7, 8 years from now. If I have a degree, I will see it then. I will see what's going on then. The culture has shifted then, for sure. The marketplace has shifted then, for sure. This market is not working forever. We're still we're due to have a crash. Everything's will be very different. It's a very different playing field. But I think philosophy degree will serve me well, also for the rest of my life, regardless of monetary situation or so on.
Okay. So yeah, so you're really just kind of, it seems like you don't really see the point of planning any further than that, because you really won't be able to predict.
Yeah. My system is not that. I don't have that much information. I don't have that much information to go off.
Right.
I don't have enough information to go off. Like I would not. I could have an idea, like what works 7 years from now, but there's no point to it. I've been so wrong many times before. Like no point. It's gonna be incorrect in so many levels. There's no point in trusting myself that much. I'd rather just enjoy the time, you know.
Okay. Huh. Mm-hmm. Are there any particular philosophers that you find yourself drawn to?
Yeah. It's embarrassing, but yeah. Nietzsche, I really love. I really love Nietzsche. I'm not as strong-headed as he is. I'm not as certain as he is. I don't have much in common with him, I don't think. But his texts are like music to me. The symbolism of it. It's like Christianity without the burden, somehow. I like it. I like the symbolism of it. It's like poetry and philosophy. It's not like INTP type Kant Hegel stuff where it's so meticulous, so systematic. I don't work with that so well. That's why I'm trying to practice that. I want to understand better. I see the value of somehow being able to work for 40 years on some particular string of logic that is so bizarre to me. But there's some value to it. There must be. I've seen the cinematic machines at my workplace. They're incredibly incomprehensible pieces of engineering, which must be some TI head just working on it for 10 years. And then some other next generation TI head just taking the old machine and just make it better. I think it's cool. I don't think I can do that.
Interesting. Anyone other than Nietzsche?
Yeah. Let's go. Wittgenstein. Wittgenstein's nice. It's mostly we need Wittgenstein and Nietzsche. Bertrand Russell as well, but it's a bit different. I like him as well. Commentary. Let's say. Nietzsche, Wittgenstein, and then Bertrand Russell.
Okay. No, I mean that gives me a little bit of a picture of where you're at. It sounds like you kind of like envy TI or something like that, and
no, I think I'm just embarrassed by my lack of TI. More like it.
what do you perceive as a lack of TI?
Lack of consistency.
Consistency in terms of what?
Thinking choices. I'm tricky. So some might say I have answer for everything, and that's very inconsistent. But then the answers, if you were to write my answers down, my years worth of answers, you might find 40%. If you would sum up all the answers, you would find perhaps half as many contradictions. I would imagine. I mean, you'll be the judge of it. You heard me speak. I don't know, maybe I'm not the contradictory here, but yeah, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Okay. I mean, do you often act or speak on impulse without thinking through it?
Yeah, depends on the level of caffeine in my blood, probably, and nicotine. Well, you know, of course, it depends how excited I am. I'm quite excitable. I'm quite high play, I would imagine. So if I'm in like play state, if we go into that for a moment, of course, throwing jokes and being entertaining and all that is it's timing, it's being quick, it's being slow. It's not so. Oh, let me take a moment to think about this, and then coming up with an answer.
Well, right.
When the answer comes to me from my spine or wherever, I'm just throw it out. Just see what sticks to the wall.
I guess what I'm really saying is, are you like an emotionally reactive person?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you find yourself getting like depressed or angry very easily?
Yes.
Okay. How are you in your daily interactions with people you don't know?
When I'm at work, I try to be professional. If I'm feeling good, I might be more relaxed, more fun. But mostly I try to keep it professional, so it's doesn't get weird. You know, with some people I don't want to get too close. So of course you maintain professional borders or professional distance. That's it.
Okay.
Mm.
I mean, how do you generally feel about people? Like, do they bother you? Do you like them?
Yeah, I like people. I like people.
Okay.
I like most people. I like most people. Some people are very endearing. Some people are very fun, and some people are very intimidating. I don't know. People are cool.
Okay. What bugs you the most about them? Like maybe something that most people do that irritates you. I don't know.
It's a duality. It's like a coin with two sides. It's like if they give me too much attention or too little.
Interesting. So, do you prefer to be able to spend time with other people relatively frequently?
Yeah. Springtime, yeah. When the sun comes, the long winter is over and the sun is here. I like to spend time with people. People are in high spirits. Then it's good to have a good time. Yeah.
And how long can you spend alone without interacting with people before it starts to bug you?
Last year I was like maybe 4 weeks just in my room, not really having a conversation with anyone. Most of my life I was very secluded, excluded, or not socializing much. So let's say now I feel very social, but that's historically speaking not as social. So
It sounds like
it's hard.
it sounds like it was largely a conscious decision of yours not to be social when you were younger.
That's true. So that might be sort of that. So maybe we have progressed, and maybe I have become more of myself. Yeah. So
Well,
I'm more social.
It's kind of a 50-50 thing for me.
Okay.
I mean, in a way, you could almost say that you become, less of yourself as you get older because you learn.
Yeah, true. More socialized, more degenerate.
But
No, that's
yeah, I don't know. There's too many ways to look at things.
Yeah.
Well, all right. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not finding this particularly easy. How, as far as school goes, as long as you're invested in it, is it?
Bless you.
Thank you.
Is it easy for you to get all your work done and get good grades and whatever? Like, is school difficult for you?
I like to work really quickly and just get into just blast it really quickly, just get it incredibly quickly done, and just do it.
Okay. I mean, I remember always hating university, always hating school, really struggling to get my work done, kind of waiting until the last minute to do everything. I mean, I would do it really quickly all at once, but, right before the deadline.
Yeah, I will not schedule. I will not plan it. No.
Okay. How far ahead do you think in terms of what you're going to do? Like, do you not even really think about tomorrow, or?
Well, I think the person I met last evening, she thought I think very far ahead. I think people think I think far ahead. I couldn't know how far I think in comparison to other people. I like to think I think far ahead. I think sometimes 70, 80 years, if I wanted to be alive at that point. Yeah. I don't think of it down to a detail, and it's not really thinking. It's not really categorizing and labeling and examining those parts. It's mostly just sort of
I think so
floating
too.
in that sort of space, floating in that vision, floating in that, however you want to call
I
it.
think it might be
That's why I like
interesting.
niche, because it's not
Yeah,
very well
that whole
defined.
thing
It's
just-
just, it is.
Any right there.
I don't think he's FI, but it's hard to tell.
Right there.
So, how would you say that your behavior is largely dependent on the reactions that you get from other people?
No. Well, if yeah, maybe.
Like for example, will you maybe do something not sure if it's like a good or a bad thing to do, and then if people respond well to it, then you're like, oh, okay, I'll go with that. But if they respond poorly, you're like, oh, really, I really shouldn't have done that.
Perhaps, but a poor reaction might be a good reaction to it. Might be fun.
Okay.
It might be fun for them as well. So it's not as strict that I would somehow categorize bad and good reaction, happy and bad, and unhappy. Because sometimes we like a little bit of negative emotion as well. Not just constant positive emotion that's not real life.
Right.
Yeah, but the reactions, I like reactions. That's true. Yes.
Well, I mean, that's actually worth getting into a little bit. I think I guess when you're interacting with people, and I don't know if it's different with people you know well versus people you don't, but let's say you're at a party, kind of mingling with various people. I mean, do you like to strike up interesting conversations with people? What kind of reactions are you looking for?
Surprisement, amusement. What is this? This is weird and cool and interesting. That's kind of the best reaction. That's out there.
Okay.
And it's kind of cool.
I mean,
that's a better reaction. Yeah.
Are you likely to kind of strike up a deep conversation that people aren't really ready to have?
Yeah. Yes, I will. But I'll learn to pace myself and maybe give maybe 24 words per 30 minutes on that level.
Okay. Words
It's
per
not
minute.
that popular to get.
I hadn't thought about that before.
Huh. Okay, well, I'm going to be right back. I have to use the bathroom.
Okay.
How often do you have an experience of wanting to do something or feeling like you want to do something, but like not actually having like the motivation to get up and do it?
That's very rare, I think.
Okay. And
well, in sales, I think it's somewhat morally not right sometimes. So if there's moral contradiction and I still somehow want to do it for some other motive, then I would really have a hard time with myself to do it. But if I don't see moral contradictions, like personal moral contradictions with it, or you don't have personal moral contradiction with it, then most of the times I want to involve other people in it, and other people are not as excited to do it as I am, and that's the hindering of the process.
okay,
Hindrance to the process.
I gotcha. How likely are you to start something and not finish it?
Can you repeat that?
I said, how likely are you to start something but never finish it? Like even like a song, for example.
Most of the time, in one sitting, I will just complete it.
Okay. Huh.
And I will want to finish it, and I will push everyone to finish it. Yeah, and I will brush us. It will be horrible, and we'll do it anyway.
And would you ever like go back to it and refine it further?
If there's potential to it, I'm not that great, so usually there's not much potential in my life. But if it would be good, then yes. If I see if it's a gem or it's an amazing piece, then of course let's get back to it. But my personal philosophy right now with my music writing or music making is that I'm way at the beginning. Like I need 7 years more to really start refining stuff. Now I just have to just work, do the basic work, and then when it comes to refinement and all that, that's not near. I'm not there yet. I don't think so. I'm not the one who wants to make it big or successful at this age. Oh, I'm not interested in that. I want to be masterful at it, and that requires maintaining practice and just doing the basic parts and staying humble and just doing the horrible work you're doing.
Okay, well, the best I can come up with right now is ENTP.
ENTP.
So I guess at this point I'm wondering what you thought you might be coming into this?
I think you would be not too off. I think I do a lot of double designing, in this. I think sensory, must be feminine sensory, no OPS terms.
I don't know that much about OPS. I'm not really interested in it.
Well, it's a visual thing. But ENTP might be good. TI, yeah, maybe. I was in another group, like 5 or 6 people. I was in a group thingy, and they thought it was ISTP. Do you see that?
I thought about it briefly. I mean, you definitely seem more like at least an extroverted perception dominant individual. I would not classify you as an introvert. Despite some supporting evidence for that, but it seems like cognitively you're much quicker than that.
Yeah, I think so too. I think ENTP is not that far off. I really consider that for a very long time, and I think that you like the 8. You like the 8 cognitive functions or not?
The what?
The 8 cognitive functions. You will have 8, or like the duality and so on.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I consider all 8 of them. It's. I mean, I can see how you might come up as like an ESTP, for example. I would definitely put that above ISTP.
Okay, wow, that's cool.
But I mean, after talking to you for long enough, honestly, you just don't. You don't come off like an ESTP at all at the end of the day, even though there's a lot of things that would make me want to say that, but I think you're an NE user, even in your body language.
So what kind of language would that be?
Like the fact that your eyes are constantly flitting around, your head will turn and stuff sometimes like that. You're like you start talking and then kind of interrupt yourself and then change track a little bit. I can kind of see you kind of searching in your head while you're talking.
Yeah, and that would not be ISTP or ESTP. No, no, it would not be. Yeah. I think it's a very fair assessment, ENTP, because conversating at the same time, reassessing the next thing, or making more accurate choice of words or something.
And you have a very logical, theoretical approach to things. Like it seems like you even take almost a theoretical approach to your understanding of yourself.
Absolutely.
Or
Yes.
if I ask you, like, what does the nicotine do for you? Like, even for me as an INTP, right? I'd be like, well, it gives me a good buzz, at least if there's enough nicotine in it. But you didn't even say
True.
that.
Yeah, I would not say that.
You just gave me like a
but-
theoretical explanation of what a stimulant should do to you. You know?
Yeah, true. That must be tiring for people. Yeah.
So these are the things that kind of make me lean intuitive. Also a thinker. And
Yeah.
I see the extroverted feeling also. I don't see it in the fourth position. I think it has enough of a presence and an impact in your psyche that it would be much more likely in third slot.
That's true. With our conversation, definitely, we can see that you're in the fourth position. I'm in the third position with that. Evidently. Also, NE seems to be higher for me compared to you, just because I'm broadening the topics much more. You want to keep it more technical, I think, more precise.
I mean, that's kind of my job here, but yeah, I mean, I would say that's true in general.
Yeah, but I think if I'm thinking about what we talked, like some instances,
yeah,
I think that's into the trend.
For sure. Like I said, I mean, ESTP is not utterly out of the realm of possibility, but you would definitely be a freak of nature as far as that goes.
What do you mean? With the NE?
Like a far more intellectual personality than one might expect. I mean, trust me, I've met plenty of very intelligent ESTPs, but it really just comes down to interest in certain types of conversation. Like even a smart ESTP have rolled their eyes at me having like an intuitive conversation with someone and be like, "You guys are fucking high. Like, what are we even talking about?"
Yeah, that's what they do. That's what they do.
Yeah.
They want to keep it on the ground level with the feet on the floor. With the,
like, what's the point of even thinking about that?
Yeah, that's a waste of time. We could be working out right now.
Right. Well, or anything. I mean, yeah.
That's a joke. Bad one. Okay.
But yeah, I mean, you also don't seem have a particular need, I guess, to be physically active. Like, I see that you like to go on walks, and maybe it's a meditative thing for you. I like to go on walks and listen to music myself. But you're definitely thinking about, society on a more abstract level, and you're, kind of thinking about, where. I mean, I guess, I don't know. What really do you want to get out of life?
Is the question.
Yeah.
Or rhetorical one. Is the question. I don't know. I just want to. I don't know. Just live it. Just see what's up. That's a yes to the answer, but.
I guess.
I don't know. I just want to live it. I don't have a particular goal.
I mean, really. I mean, ENTPs and ESTPs. I mean, or any or SE Dom for that matter. I guess they all really just want to have fun at the end of the day.
Yeah, I want to have fun. That's it. That's true. Dopamine.
But it's really a matter of what's fun for you.
Yeah, and it varies.
Yeah.
That's good. I think we got out of this. I think ENTP is right. I don't EP thing. That's true. Yeah, I did not consider when I was coming into this. I did not consider myself EP, but that's right. That's probably right. I think most of my troubles have been people trying to control me, not really even trying to control that much, or in a nefarious manner, but just me reacting to it. Yeah.
Bristling at control. And I also see you like having been worried about things that you're probably just imagining, which is another kind of extroverted intuition paranoia sort of deal where you're imagining possibilities.
Weird.
I think SE people really don't they don't think that way. They just kind of
Yeah.
they do their thing. They don't worry about what might be. They focus more on
That's
what
true.
is.
They're very self-assured to the point of annoyance to me. Like,
Or at least they
wow.
seem that way.
What?
They at least seem self-assured.
I think they must, of course.
They probably are most of the time, but I think maybe if you got inside their heads at times, you might be a little surprised.
Yeah, I would not want to experience that.
Yeah. But yeah, that ENTP is the best I've got for you.
I think that's good. I think that's good work.
I guess. Any further questions?
No, I think we're good.
All right.
Thank you.
I mean, you feel free to email me if you think of anything, I guess. But I think we're done here.
Yeah, I email when I'm